This week on Checkpoint, our probe into what happened to the 1.3 billion rand allocated to the Alexandra Renewal Project continues.
It looks like they spent 1 million or 2 million here. The rest, the money went to individuals.
If 35 million rand was invested in Kwabengi Langa in terms of its sports field, we have a responsibility to ensure that we chase and follow where that money went.
It's very painful to 35 million.
And later, Joburg Mayor Herman Mashaba in the hot seat.
Oh, well, I'm not rendered powerless. I'm being sabotaged.
You're being sabotaged, but it makes you powerless in this regard, in terms of the program that you want to.
I can tell you, no one will ever make me powerless.
Okay.
In fact, what happens is they're making me smarter.
This is Checkpoint, and I'm Nkepile Mabuse. Last week, the questions we posed about millions spent on the Alexandra Renewal Project centered around alleged corruption in the allocation of houses. But the scramble for money meant to renew Alex went even further. Its opportunistic tentacles extended to tenders for security during evictions of unlawful occupiers. Independent producer Henrietta Mbuzwana and cameraman Tsapotlamini begin part 2 of their probe with an update on the chairman of the Dudula movement, who in our previous episode expressed fears for his safety.
This is the one that took her life.
Last week, we shared Keti Tsia's story about his risky work as the chairman of the Dudula movement and the tragic murder of his wife, which he believes is linked to the Alex Renewal Project, or ARP. A week after Tsia spoke to us, a second attempt was made on his life. The Dudula movement was formed by a group of people from Alexandra who say they grew fed up with corruption linked to the allocation of ARP houses. Late last year, they started evicting foreign nationals from ARP houses.
Officials of ARP, they would rent out.
Which officials?
Particularly Jacob. His
Jacob?
name,
Who's Jacob?
Jacob Malebe. His name came out, not once, but on few occasions.
He fingered Malebe as being the main person at the center of housing corruption in Alex.
Jacob Malebe is head of safety at ARP, and who is apparently an acting director at the moment at ARP.
Allegations against Malebe don't stop there. Sboom Mjoli, who had his house demolished by the ARP in 2002 and is still waiting for them to replace it 17 years later, also mentioned a Jacob.
He said there's a project, a Itebe project. So it move around to since goes over Bazwaka bridge and extend your inlet.
Allegations made by Thomas Sithole against Jacob Malebe are even more serious.
Oh, Jacob, we seven city, and then Watola Futi tender a land invasion. Good Department of Human Settlement.
Sithole says Malebe used him as a front to secure government contracts for his company, Bahahla Securities.
He's supposed to declare if Magatendara.
In 2015, Sithole says Bahahla informed him that it could no longer afford him and that he would be called back for more work in the near future. That allegedly never happened. Sithole says he received a call from the Department of Human Settlements wanting information from him. OBs, or occurrence books, contain a history of work done.
For the whole contract which Natipele last year, Mangjola Department, Fanel Ngabe Avala around 80-something. So but we batoleng 3.
Now Sithole says he is required to account for decisions he was not privy to.
Go service level agreement is signed with him.
Yeah.
So human settlement say funagimi. So yime fanele ngiexplain indaba zabo manje. Ngathi yime esengenza zonke lezi zinto kanti yibo besengekho mina benza lezi zinto lezi.
We decided to give Jacob Malibe a call and hear his side of the story. The allegations are, for instance...
Allegations are always there with somebody saying they don't know what he's doing, what
Yes. However, the thing is that, Jacob, we wanted a direct response from you because in at least 6 or 7 interviews, your name has come up as someone who has been selling houses in Alex, selling them to foreign nationals.
Selling, you've got that proof of the guy selling, because the police station, the investigation, the Hawks are supposed to deal with those cases. If they've got the mandate, they must go directly to the police station and open a case against.
So,
there's wrongdoing thereafter.
According to Malibe, his lengthy tenure with the city makes corruption on his part impossible.
So how can I sell houses when I'm 29 years in the city of Johannesburg? How possible is this?
Well, it's very possible according to these people.
They must have proof. And it's where now I can include my legal department to do.
Okay, but have you or haven't you been selling houses?
No.
Okay.
Why should I sell the houses? For what? For what reason?
In order to profit.
No. For profit for what? Let the Hawks do the investigation.
And with
now, forensic office is busy doing investigation.
Yes.
I'm waiting for them also. I'm giving them every right to do whatever investigation they want to do.
And so it is alleged that while you were owning Bakatla Security, you went on to use Thomas Sithole as the face of tenders so that you could secure tenders even though you worked for the city of Joburg.
Okay, and that one I will never even answer you. I think that one you need to talk to my lawyers about.
To speak to your lawyer. So would you be willing to have an on-camera interview with us, Jacob?
No, I've got no intention of doing that.
Human Settlements DDG, Neville Cheney, says he's never heard of Jacob Malibe. Later, the mayor of Joburg tells us a different story.
We've all projected ourselves to be taking action against fraud, corruption, collusion, and if what you're saying is true, then I would be surprised to find out why this hasn't happened. But I'm assuming that this is an official of the city of Joburg and there hasn't been action, so I will take this up with the city manager.
When we return, a 35 million rand price tag for what athletes describe as a dangerous sports field.
The condition of the track, since from back then, it was very, very bad. Till you see it even today, it's still bad.
So, class theta ngalo 35 million. Yenze, they have done.